Okay, the Cleveland Browns bounces back from a humiliating loss to beat the Steelers 29-17. What should be our biggest takeaway from this game? And Zay, once again, if you want to do the honors and kick us off, go right ahead.
I think the biggest takeaway for this game was the ability of the Browns to kind of run the ball. I thought they was doing really well running the ball against the Steelers. I think that when they tried to do the tandem of Hunt and Chubb, it was working to their advantage. And I thought that when I saw the Steelers defense, I thought they were still stout even without TJ Watt. I thought they were still able to stuff the run, and I didn't believe in the receivers of the Cleveland Browns or in Jacoby Brissett's throwing arm, in my opinion. I'm a person who's very critical of Jacoby Brissett. I joke around and sarcastically say he's the best quarterback in the NFL because I just don't believe in his ability to be a starting quarterback in this league. And he did it pretty well. He only had 2 sacks. He had 2 touchdowns, threw for 220 yards. The running game was stout. He got Amari Cooper his over 100 yards and touchdown. You want to make Cooper happy so the team could be happy because you don't want him calling you the black Kirk Cousins. That's something you don't want to be continuing hearing as the season goes on. I think the Browns played good. I think they had a tough loss against the Jets when they lost that 30-17 lead in with a minute 40 left. And they was able to win this game was big for them. On short rest, they beat the Steelers that came to their crib, and they was able to defeat them. I think that was big for their morale. And it also gives them an opportunity to really stay above the surface until Deshaun Watson comes back. This game was very important for that. They have to take as many wins as they possibly can until Deshaun Watson comes back to carry this offense. I think right now they were able to stay above surface, just keep their head above water so they're not drowning in what could be a disastrous season if they continue to lose. I think Jacoby Brissett was able to find his playmakers, which was Cooper, Njoku, and of course Chubb, who had 23 carries this game, which is important.
I think for me, when you look at this game and to have one big takeaway from the game, I could easily look at the Steelers and go with the trendy topic. I'm pretty sure if Zach was here, he's a big Kenny Pickett guy. His big takeaway would be get Mitch out of there. Let's roll out the kid Kenny Pickett. But, we have our differences there because I think their issues is bigger than just Mitch, and I'm not opposed to them having a spark and putting the kid in there for a little spark. But still, I think their issues run deeper than just Mitch. But I think to have an overall big takeaway, my big takeaway is that the Browns have a formula to win. And that's Kevin Stefanski installing that formula, which he has done since he came and took this job, which is we're going to run the football. We're going to make the game easier and tailor-made for our quarterbacks to not have to do much. And I think with Baker, without Baker, it was always a system. Look at Baker right now, 0-2 on the Panthers. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have been 0-2 on the Browns. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you talk about that and just him just literally being the light of a lot of darkness surrounding the franchise at this very moment, with everything going with Deshaun Watson, with everything going with the fans and the fan behavior in week 2 and all that was going on, and just being the Browns, this dysfunctional franchise, he has been the light of the franchise. And when you have that guy, Kevin Stefanski, who was a freestyler, okay, something happened. The world is crumbling. How do I still navigate through the world that's under the apocalypse right now? He's that type of strategist, and that's exactly what he's doing. When you talk about these stats that I believe that is floating around, there's a trendy stat here. Stefanski is the first Browns coach since 1999 to win 3 times against the Steelers. Stefanski is the 12th coach of the team since that span and has an overall record of 19-14 as the coach. Now, there's a few little nuances that Kevin Stefanski made in this game that I was like, oh, yeah, he's strategically running circles around Mike Tomlin right now, Matt Canada, right? There was a play where it was 3rd and 1, and Nick Chubb was in the backfield. And everybody, I'm pretty sure the Steelers thought this way, and I definitely thought this way. It was going to be, okay, you're going to hand off that ball to Nick Chubb to pick up a yard. And then last second, as the play clock is winding down, he motions Kareem Hunt and literally hands it off to Kareem Hunt just like that. Didn't even give the defense a time to react to the motion and what they saw. That's Kevin Stefanski. So I understand right now they have a placeholder at quarterback, but when you have Stefanski, you're good money, and you can trust him to have this system implemented. This is a system right here. And all we're doing is swapping quarterbacks or using a placeholder and bridge that moment to when Deshaun Watson can play. And I'll leave you with this, Zay. You know, when you talk about Jacoby Brissett, a guy who you actually don't like, and you made it clear that you don't like this guy, look at his numbers. The first 3 weeks, Brissett is putting up career high numbers in completion rates, touchdown percentages, passing yards per game, and a passer rating. This is under Kevin Stefanski. That's why he's the coaching guru.
I think, I'm highly critical of Stefanski just due to the Baker Mayfield era when they had that opportunity to take the Chiefs out of there during the playoffs. I was really highly critical about that. Even the owner was upset about that they weren't aggressive enough to take that team out of there the way they were supposed to. I think, hopefully, I'm not talking about right now, because right now they're on the back of their heels. They don't have their starting quarterback they just paid $250 million to. And, this right now it's about hopefully the playbook when he gets on the field opens up and not going to be just run on first, second, and third. Because when you have a Deshaun Watson type of caliber player, you should be able to let him make those plays. Do open the playbook a little bit more. I hope it's just not all running plays with Deshaun Watson as your quarterback, hoping that the run game opens up because Watson's such a big figure that it enables the defense to have to play more pass heavy. I'm hoping that Stefanski becomes more of a risk taker with Deshaun Watson on the field because of how dominant he could be. I'm seeing how the Browns are playing. They're playing conservative because that's the only option they have right now. Keep the other offense off the field, run the ball a lot, make sure that you take their offense out of the game as much as possible. We get it, but when it just comes down to if Watson comes back, let's say they have a winning record before Watson comes back, Watson touches the field. Will they continue to play this conservative level of football that's, like you stated, Stefanski has instilled in this Browns offense? Or will they start to take more risky plays because Watson's on that field and they feel more trusting of having that quarterback making those throws opposed to when they had Baker Mayfield and Jacoby Brissett?
And I think that's a fair question to bring up. But I also think that's a good issue to have because now you have a superstar quarterback that you can operate with. And when it comes to passing situations, you can be aggressive. Like, yeah, this offense is conservative, but I saw Kevin Stefanski still going for it on 4th and shorts. So, it's all about managing and just realizing the quarterback that you have and what he can and cannot do and continuing to do what makes you, but at the same time, bridging that gap to make it do what it do. Now, I think when you talk about this, and I'm going to end here, and I'm pretty much done, my only concern, right? And I know you have a lot possibly when it comes to this Browns team. Right now, they're actually number 1 in the conference in the AFC North, so that's a good thing. Hypothetically, I'm pretty sure we don't believe that they're going to remain number 1, but, it's not out of the ballpark. The Bengals have been disappointing so far, 0-2. Okay, the Ravens are 1-1. Their defense, which was supposed to be the strength of the team, is looking suspect, right? The Steelers is looking suspect as well. They're looking old and outdated. The Browns could remain number 1, even though we don't believe so. But if they were, looking ahead, Nostradamus cap is on right now. Just looking ahead, couple weeks, they're number 1 still. And Jacoby Brissett is still having a decent year. Remember what I said about his stats being the best that they are at this point in time. My only concern is how are they going to make that transition from Jacoby Brissett and Deshaun Watson? And are they going to remain to stick to the plan of when Deshaun Watson is eligible, we go to him? Because they got a lot of money invested in Deshaun Watson. $230 million guaranteed, Mr. Charles. You know what I'm saying? They got that money, so of course they're going to play the dude. But how is that going to sit well with the locker room? And Jacoby Brissett is doing his thing. And how that's going to sit well with Jacoby? That's my biggest question.